What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky and happy Monday. So today we're going to be talking about how to buy and sell cars. Now, we've talked about this 1,000 times on the channel. It is probably one of the most asked questions I keep getting over and over again. So today I wanted to go ahead and give you guys some basically free training on how to get started in the industry. Now, I meet so many people that want to start either owning their own dealership or flipping cars, or they want to wholesale and everything else, but they all had one thing in common: no automotive experience at all. I tell everybody, if you want to start off your automotive journey in buying and selling cars or a rental car business or anything like that, you want to try to work for somebody for a little bit just so you can see the ins and out of the businesses before you actually invest a bunch of your money and time. I've seen this time and time again. People start getting into the industry, they realize how much time it is, how much skill you got to have, how fast you can lose money, how much money you can sometimes even make, which is great. So there are some good things and bad things. So what I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you're in the mood to actually open up a dealership and you think that that is the right move for you guys, you should definitely start looking at working for a small car dealership. I usually recommend going to a small one independently and working for about maybe 2 to 3 months and then switching it up to a franchise store. Now, the reason why I want you to go through 2 different ones is they're going to both have different struggles, and you need to learn this, and this is what lets you know what a great, dealer or how to learn is. Because I meet so many people that are like, well, I'm really smart. That's great. Car business doesn't care how smart you are. I've seen it eat up multimillionaires that are brainiacs. That's why Amazon and a few of these other companies, Microsoft, everybody tries to jump into the automotive space, and they usually get their ass handed to them because it's just such a loss of money. Now, the only reason Carvana hasn't done that is because they have an abundance of investor money. They got billions of dollars behind them, not millions, billions. So once you guys can get that kind of money and get investors to keep just shoveling money in your back pocket, then you can eventually figure out a system that can work. But until then, you should definitely look at actually working for a small independent car lot. Now, there are some good things and some bad things that are going to come with it. As you're working there, I would work sales, learn about finance. We talked about this a lot of times when it comes to financing. Some people absolutely have no idea when it comes to financing, and that's where you're going to get screwed. If you don't know what recourse is, we talked about this before on the channel. If you sell a deal to a bank, sometimes if you don't know the business, banks are sneaky. They're going to put in a little fine print on the very bottom, hey, you need to have 3 months recourse on this deal to accept it. They don't tell you, or they don't show you, they just, here you go, here's the deal. Usually say, oh, it looks great, I want to accept it. You accept the deal, now you're bound by that 3-month recourse. What that means is if the customer doesn't make his first 3 payments, you owe all the money for the vehicle, and then it's up to you to go get your vehicle. So if the customer moved out of state, moved away, or just disappeared, and you have no paperwork on him, then you are SOL. So these are some of the reasons why we want you to actually go work for a small independent dealer, because this will let you know how much of a struggle it is and some of the headaches that come along with it, especially when it comes to sales. I've seen all these people either, oh, I'm the man, I can buy cars, I know how to make money, but they are the worst salesmen on earth. They don't deal with people. Now, you got to remember, when you're in the car business, you're going to deal with all kinds of people. You're going to deal with rich people that are arrogant assholes, and you're going to deal with people that are extremely poor, that this is their last dollar, and they're going to get very upset if their car breaks on them. You need to learn about working with all these people in all aspects of life, because it's going to be a big determining on which direction you go to with your automotive dealership. Plus, the customers are how we make money. So if you're not good with people, you are not going to be a good dealer. Now, you don't have to be like giving out hugs and candy and telling everybody you love them, but you are going to have some negotiating skills. You're going to have some compassion, and you're going to have to not be an asshole, because there's a lot of dealers, and I can mention off probably about 200-300 of them, that are just very firm. They're not friendly with their customers. This is the way I do it, and this is it. They never grow. They stay about this big, about 40-50 cars, and that's it. And they never expand past there. If you want that to be your way, you can go ahead and be closed-minded. You can treat customers like crap the second they drive off. If it's a poor single mother that drives a car off and the motor blows up, you just tell her tough luck, you bought it as is. But you need to start getting better with people. When you're actually on the front lines and you become a salesman at a small independent store, you're going to deal with these people and you're going to deal with all the headaches, all the issues, chasing stips, chasing down payments, learning how to read fraudulent documents, because right now I've never seen so many fake pay stubs in my life. Fake bank statements, fake pay stubs. I'm starting to see how many of these places are selling the same ones because I can see the last 4 digits of the account number on the same bootleg Bank of America account. So these are some of the things that you're going to learn as an actual an employee, and it's going to make you realize if you want to jump into the automotive industry. Because, you know, we talked about, I don't know if you guys remember, about a year ago, we did a video on this guy in Houston, and, you know, his buddy was a dealership, very successful, made a bunch of money. He thought that he was smarter than his friend, so he jumped into the business, you know, and just started trying to sell cars and whatever else. He got screwed by banks. He got screwed by customers. He had all these people with what's called CPNs, credit profile numbers, which are fake socials. Don't do them. They're illegal. Stay away. But he was financing all these people because he didn't know how to check. He didn't have any type of background, didn't have LexisNexis. And so he was getting burned by all the banks. One day the bank came up, knocked on his door and said, "We need a check for $280,000 or we're going to close you down." And he had no choice. He had to mortgage his house, pay off this thing, and close his dealership because he didn't want to risk being KO'd and having any of his other privileged license go away. And that's what you run into if you actually don't know the business. So first thing, start off an independent store. Deal with the customers. Learn how their CRM works. Learn how to actually sell cars. What kind of inventory works in your area? A lot of people think that, well, you know what, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to sell Mercedes, BMWs, screw all the bad credit customers. I want the cream puffs, the cherries. No, that is the hardest demographic to make money on. I don't know why dealers think that if you sell nice cars, you'll get good customers. You're still going to get shitty customers with shitty credit. They're just going to want nicer cars. So you need to learn all aspects of it. If you look right now, a lot of franchise stores are hiring independent car lot finance guys because the subprime market is massive, especially right now because there's so many people that don't have their traditional jobs. They don't have that 6 months of employment, or they've been off and on due to either COVID or health issues or just the regular economy. And these are some of the things that you're not going to know unless you work at a dealership. Now that you got that out of the way, you know, and one thing that I'll tell you an independent store will do, they will show you how to stretch your dollar. Nobody will make a dollar work harder than a used independent lot, because we have to pay people, pay the banks, pay for repos, buy a handful of cars, try to keep everything moving with very fine dollars. So if you start to see how they stress and everything else, if you're okay with it and you see what kind of money they pay for their flooring payments and their curtailments and everything else, then go ahead and go that route. Now, when you go to the franchise store, it's going to teach you a little bit more of the corporate structure. I take some things from the independents and some things from the corporate stores to do my classes and to teach you guys. And I like the way a lot of corporate stores are structured. But corporate stores has a lot of money. All these franchise stores have big, big money. So they can afford to turn down sales and afford to spend money on training and advertising and everything else like that. Where if you're a small independent, you don't have a $30,000 a month budget to advertise. You only got maybe a couple $100s, or you got to worry about your salesman actually market. So if you have lazy salesman at an independent store, you're going to die. But if you have lazy salesman at a franchise store, they don't care. They just let you sit there. You're on commission. Eventually, you'll just wean yourself off and disappear. And they'll just keep hiring people in the cycle. But it'll teach you how bigger companies think, how they buy cars, how the financing works, how they deal with different types of options. You'll see that when you deal with customers with better credit, they're not pushovers. They want the best price. They're going to come with a check, and they're not going to negotiate. They're going to walk in and be like, I got whatever, $60,000. That's all I'm going to pay. And you're going to be like, oh, well, I need 63. They're like, nope, I'm out. And they'll just walk away because they know that somebody out there will take their $60,000 check. And when you're dealing with like bad credit customers and stuff like that, a lot of times they're just happy that you push them into a car. So there is a lot of headaches with that. There are some good things with the franchise stores that you're going to learn as far as structure. They teach a great way on how to follow up with customers, how to build your Rolodex, how to work a CRM. 90% of independent dealers have a shitty ass CRM. They don't know how to follow up with their customers. They don't know how to use their old leads to get back out with them. In my dealer center, I'm going to show you guys this. Click on your dealer center, and every time you input a customer's name, if you have bad credit or they have a down payment that's short, you can put a note with an alert. Mr. Smith, let's say he's only been on job for 3 months. Contact Mr. Smith in 3 months when he has a 6-month job time, if that's what your banks require. If your banks say 4 months, message him when he hits his 4th month. You know, if he's $2,000 short of a down payment? Okay, we're gonna message Mr. Smith next month. Put it in your notes. Let it pop up in your CRM. That's what Dealer Center is designed to do, is to remind you that you have a live customer there that's ready to buy. He's just missing out on some of your categories. And also, you can actually classify these notes and you could send them to your banks. So you could send this to one of your bankers and say, hey, look, I had this guy named Mr. Smith who was in here last month. I know you guys need 6 months on the job. He's sitting at 5 months right now. Can we get like a leniency, or can you overwrite this and we can push the deal through? Sometimes your bankers will, but you will not learn this unless you actually work at an independent store with a good finance guy. Now, once you go back to the franchise store, like I said, they push the CRM to a whole new level. They're calling people, constantly messaging. Any lead that comes in, they literally squeeze it dry. They have a whole BDM department that just calls, sets up appointments. After those fall through, they have other people that do follow-up calls. They have people that call people that sold cars a year ago to follow up on financing options, service, if they want to trade in a new car. That's some of the great stuff you're going to learn at franchise stores. But I recommend starting off with both of those and seeing what you want. Now, if you can afford a little bit of time while you're doing this, see if you can get into either wholesaling or in the finance department to learn more. Sometimes it takes you a year or two to get into any of those positions. So don't go in there thinking, well, I know how to buy cars. I flip cars off the street. Not the same. You have to know bank programs. You have to know what cars buy, what banks are looking for. It's a completely different game. Even like with my vehicle value, the people that we're hiring, I get so many people, oh, bro, I buy cars all the time, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you buy cars all the time, but there's certain cars you have to buy at a certain price. You have to know certain things and the way we book them out. And you're not going to learn that unless you actually work at like a franchise store or an independent store. That's the greatest education. Now, you can come and you can pay a bunch of money to go to one of our classes, or you can go ahead and learn from these and get paid while you do it. Also, I'd much rather see you guys do this for 2 to 3 months, make a little bit of money and learn, compared to just taking up your life savings, throwing it into the fire and praying to God that you're going to hit the ground running with your new automotive business. The reason why I made this channel is it's not easy. It is extremely hard. It is extremely stressful, and it's very taxing on your mind, your body, and your wallet most of all. I talked about it a few times throughout the videos where, the main reason I sold out was, like I said, the banks, and then just the stress of it. I got burnt out. Even me building a system that was pretty much run by most of my people, I constantly had to deal with buybacks, repos, crazy ass customers, calling the police on some of them, chasing my cars, people taking my rental cars, leaving them out in the middle of the desert, all this crazy stuff. I just got sick of it. Now you probably live in a different city and state, so you won't have as crazy as people as we do here in Vegas. But, if I knew as much as I did now, I would approach it completely different. I always talk about one of my biggest mistakes that I didn't do was learn more about buy here, pay here. I focused on the bank programs because that's what I believe what True Wealth was, volume. We want to push out cars, we want to move metal. That's what, any basically Walmart, Amazon, we're all based on volume. And that is one of my biggest regrets, is that right there, is not learning more about buy here, pay here. I know about it, I just didn't do it. So this will give you a great opportunity to get in there and to start learning from some people and start going through the ropes, seeing if you actually enjoy it, if you like it, and if it is something for you. But that's what I recommend if you're getting started. If you're a mechanic, join a shop. If you're an auto body guy, go ask to be an apprentice. Even if you want to do it as a part-time thing, you can drive Uber and Lyft, and then on the weekends, work for somebody. Now is the best time because it's tax season. People actually have money. So if you sell 3-4 cars, most dealerships pay anywhere from $200 to $400 commission per car. You'll make some pretty decent money, and you'll learn a skill, and you'll realize to see if this is actually the business for you. Because I want you guys to be successful, and I want you guys to get into this for the love of it, but I don't want you to fall out of love with it, because once you get into this, it is very stressful. And if you guys have ever had a consulting call with me, I tell you guys all the time, try this, see if you even like it before you invest your money, because like I said, it is a beautiful thing, but it's an absolute nightmare. Anyways, sorry about the rant. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of education. Like I said, before you go all deep and think about how can I buy and sell and become rich, get to the fundamentals. Learn how to do this. You're not going to go out and, conquer the world just off of having maybe $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in your bank. I've met, like I said, multimillionaires that lost a bunch of money. There's a saying in the car business, if you want to make $1 million, you need to start with 2. And that is 100% real, because that's what it's going to take, unless you're extremely savvy and you can build it up, which you can but it takes time. The learning curve in the car business is super steep. Rental cars is fairly easy, but when it comes to the sales business, it is extremely hard. So that's why I tell everybody to do this. Now, I want to talk a little bit about some of the new things we got coming to the channel. So on Mondays and Fridays, we're going to be talking about news, educational stuff like this, and trying to teach you a little bit more. But on Wednesdays, we're going to start doing like a workshop Wednesdays where I'm going to bring you guys into the shop and I'm actually going to start physically working on stuff. We're going to either talk about how to build stuff, fabricate, working on projects, even some of the cars that we buy and flip. I'll show you the process through that. So this way you get kind of a back end, because I can teach you all the office stuff, but if you don't know how to do the dirty gritty stuff, you're also going to miss out. And so this is another one of those things of learning as much as you can before you actually invest your money in opening up a dealership. But anyways, if you have any questions, please put in the comment section below. I answer every single one myself, none of my staff, just me. Also, please gently squeeze the like button. It helps me find more amazing people like yourselves that enjoy automotive content. And once again, follow us on Instagram at automotive.life, and we'll see you next video.